a game that I really and truly hoped both sides would lose. UEFA, it's not too late. You can still make that happen. The extremely predictable has once again occurred. On a level though, it's not too late to null and void. Chelsea are Champions League winners for the second time after a 1-0 victory over fellow English side Manchester City. I still think we were robbed of a final in Birmingham, if I'm going to be honest with you. Imagine City lose, they're all glum, disappointed, and they go outside and just see grey everywhere. Factually, every day since 2004 has been overcast in Birmingham. But like and subscribe for sunny weather. I'll give the Met Office a ring. Just hello, yeah, could you just make it like 26? Side note as well, if you're wondering why my background has changed and my lighting's not that great, I just moved into a new flat 2 days ago, so the optimal setup hasn't really arrived yet. But hopefully by the next video that has this mugshot in it, everything will be sorted again for your viewing pleasure. I should never say pleasure again. Pep and Manchester City have been defeated in Europe once again, and Chelsea even gave them chances this time. They started this man. The guy can't even point at his badge on target. He missed 2 glorious opportunities in the first 14 minutes of the game. He maybe thought that would be a turning point, Man City would take the stranglehold, but it never really occurred. Regardless, Timo Werner plays FIFA on beginner with the sliders on and then plugs in the opposition controller so that the AI don't move. On FIFA 2003 GameCube edition. Realistically, we should have seen this kind of performance from the German coming, given the training shots that we had before the game started. But as I said, it's a loss for Man City in Europe again, this time at least in a final, but it's not going to change that badge sleeve that they've got for next year in European competition. I think it's harsh, personally. Chelsea ran through this Pep Guardiola side like Dele Alli runs through Pep Guardiola's daughter. That's mad, man. I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. Which is what Pep Guardiola's daughter says, actually, to be fair. Where Manchester United centre-back Harry Maguire hit the nail on the head with this quote. Is this fraudulence? We kind of have to ask ourselves about this. You can't just keep winning the Continental Caffeine Cup, Pep. If he had hair like Sam Allardyce, he would be the assistant on-site manager at Wycombe Wanderers. I'm joking, obviously. He wouldn't get the job. Pep Guardiola is a phenomenal manager. He's a tactical mastermind and he's constantly revolutionized the way football works at an elite level. But one criticism that people always find of him is that he overthinks in very important matches and important situations like a Champions League final. I think he's definitely been guilty of doing that at City, more so than anywhere else. I don't really remember many times he did it at Barca or Bayern. But in all of the European campaigns so far for City, you could argue that he has. But as much as he probably wanted to play a triple left-back system in a new 2-4-5 formation, I actually think he may have underthought this one. I saw a statistic doing the rounds about Pep Guardiola and Manchester City's holding or defensive midfielders, right? Out of the 60 games that Man City have played in all competitions so far this season, the season's done, in 59 of those 60 games, they've played either Rodri or Fernandinho or both. The only time neither of those have started was the Champions League final yesterday against Chelsea. Now, for me, I don't really understand how you can not play a defensive midfielder against Chelsea. I just don't think he thought about it enough. He didn't really appreciate how much of a good counter-attacking side Chelsea are. Mason Mount and Kai Havertz are living the life with that amount of space that he's leaving by not dropping a DM into that space. Man City's press is amazing, but as soon as Chelsea played out of that, there was nobody to protect Diaz and Stones whatsoever. Werner was shocking in front of goal, but in terms of his pace, he was dragging people all over the gaff. A journalist tweeted about the fact that in the games where City have lost against Chelsea this season, in the FA Cup and in the Premier League, both of those games had either Fernandinho or Rodri or both. To kind of disprove the element that they needed them, but it's an irrelevant point because if you look at the teams that were playing against Chelsea in both of those games, both of them are pretty weakened. You can't look at either of those City teams and go, that is the absolute strongest 11 that Pep Guardiola can play. Whether Fernandinho or Rodri are in the team, or whether the system's correct, the personnel probably weren't there to win that game. For me, he just didn't think about it enough and had to put one of Rodri or Fernandinho in that midfield. Ederson was practicing his penalties a couple days before the game. Play him at DM. But more than anything though, Chelsea on the night just played better in pretty much every department. They created better chances. Pulisic could have easily made it 2-0. Defensively, they were unbelievable. Some beautiful last-ditch challenges from Azpilicueta and Rudiger. Christensen as well at the end after he came on for Thiago Silva. Silva, and they played a nice fluid counter-attacking play. I actually thought it was a really good final. I saw people complain, and I think it's just because they looked at the scoreline and because it didn't have 6 goals in, their attention span broke down. But as a tactical encounter, it was way better than the Liverpool-Spurs final. But we won that one, so it was way less good than the Liverpool final. Realistically, though, it just turns out this African curse that Yaya Toure was talking about a few years ago is in fact correct. Either that or it was this shambolic tattoo that a City fan got before the game happened. And N'Golo Kante put in a man of the match performance, a Ballon d'Or winning performance. He's put himself in contention with 1 game. How is he so good for such a small man? He was carried by Kurt Zouma at full time like a Labrador in the park. The footage of him with his mum was wholesome as well. Do you reckon he politely asks attackers before he actually tackles them? Kai Havertz is going to go down in folklore now after scoring the one and only winning goal in the final. His performance was nuts, by the way. He ran the game, and I'm not happy for him because he plays for Chelsea. But a neutral part of me is happy for him because he's had a really, really difficult start to life there. Has he paid off the price tag already? I mean, either way, judging by this interview, he doesn't care.
Expensive Chelsea player ever. He paid it all back in one night nearly.
To be honest, right now I give a fuck on that. We won the fucking Champions League, and we just celebrate now.
I apologise for that fruity language.
Right back, Reece James has sterling in his pocket, and I'm not talking about loose change.
What happened there tonight? What went wrong?
They scored a goal and we didn't.
Fucking hell, up to Raheem over here. Mason Mount's story arc is only just getting started, but it's been a good one so far. Coming up through the ranks, playing with the likes of Reece James, playing against the likes of Phil Foden as a youngster, going out on loan, proving himself, coming back, winning the Champions League. I mean, fair play to him. And Senegalese goalkeeper Edouard Mendy's is perhaps even better, going from being unemployed at 22 and not knowing if his career was going to continue to winning the Champions League in 2021. So there you have it. If you're concerned because you've just received your P45, become Senegalese. Tammy Abraham was loving life as well. Full kit wanker settings. He's got his shin pads. He's ready to go. Thomas Tuchel will probably need those shin pads when Tammy's girlfriend gets a hold of him. But he was too busy celebrating with the lads back in the changing rooms. Frank Lampard was watching on at home, vastly unimpressed. Well, I can't lie, it's great to see Mason finally mount a Champions League challenge. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? In all seriousness, though, I'm clinically depressed. Ex-United defender Patrice Evra didn't miss the opportunity to get back at City as well, posting this on his Insta. I mean, City have been violated by a man that's lips raw chicken before. This man overcame salmonella just to banter you off as well. Like, I wouldn't have that personally. It wasn't all happy and good news. Obviously, Manchester City on the losing side. I felt bad for Kevin De Bruyne, who left the field of play with about half an hour to go, injured, fractured nose and eye socket. I don't know how long it'll take him to recover, hopefully only a few days with the Euros on the horizon, but he's likely to be unable to see anything for a couple of days in visible settings, like his performance in the final. And it's a sad end for Sergio Aguero, who came on as a late sub after Gabriel Jesus, who didn't resurrect anything in his final game before going to Barcelona, you imagine, on a free in the summer. This quote about leaving when he'd won the Champions League could have aged better. So Chelsea are your champions of Europe. How? I don't really know. They look like a pretty mighty force with Thomas Tuchel at the wheel. Some of those players are only gonna grow and get better. I'm talking about your Havertz, your Mounts, even your Werners realistically. Could they mount a serious title challenge next year? Let me know down in the comment section. But that is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, then feel free to slap a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It's at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.